what's going on? What's going on? Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm out here running errands. And yes, it is overcast. Okay, in the ATL. It's overcast. It's drizzling. But it's still a beautiful day to be alive, okay? As my great-grandfather used to say, every day above ground is a great day. So I'm happy for every day, no matter what the weather is. I'm excited. Okay, so listen, I wanted to come on here real quick. I wanted to talk to my folks. How many of you have seen that documentary on Netflix called Martha, about Martha Stewart? Who's seen it? If you've seen it, I want to have a discussion about it. I got a question for you. What are your thoughts about women who are perceived as being hardcore, aggressive, demanding, don't accept anything less than perfection, can come across as very harsh and blunt, have crazy work ethic, and demand nothing less than the best from those that they work with or those that work for them? Like, what is your thought process as far as those women being perceived as, in this day and age and even years ago, perceived as being a bitch? They talked about that in the documentary, how, you had one set of people who absolutely loved her because, let's be clear, Martha Stewart showed women how it was not hard to be able to, cook and garden and do things around your home that were really nice, and I mean very nice, like phenomenal looking things, for a fraction of the cost. Like, she showed people, you don't have to have $1 million, you don't have to make 6 figures to be able to do and have nice things at your home. So you had this set of women who absolutely adored her, liked her, really appreciated what she brought to the table. And then you had, in my opinion, a lot of men, okay, and unfortunately even some women, who resented her perfection persona and really relished in seeing her downfall. Like, I don't know about you, I don't relish in seeing anyone's downfall, regardless of whether they deserve it or not. I don't relish on seeing anyone's downfall. Like, I'm not that type of person that's like, that takes joy and satisfaction in seeing someone, go to prison or lose all their money, or lose all their friends, lose credibility or anything like that. Now, do I feel like some people absolutely deserve it based upon the life that they've led? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not judge and jury, and everybody out here has done some stuff in their past that is questionable, unethical, morally wrong. Like, let's be very clear. Everybody has done something. Don't sit up here and act like you are saints out there and have never done anything wrong at all in your life. and you just live this virtuous life, and nothing, and you don't deserve anything that you've gotten, that you don't deserve any punishment or whatever that you've gotten. So there were people who really relished in her downfall, like journalists, just society in general, like people in society in general. And then they mentioned James Comey at the time, how he was really pushing to come after her. Now, you can say what you want. I'm sure everyone has their opinion based upon, if you know the facts of her case that led to, her guilty conviction and prison sentence. Like, if you know the facts of, hi, for those of you just joining, for those of you who truly know the facts and not just hearsay, I'm sure people have an opinion on, well, yeah, what she did was wrong, blah, 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 blah. Or it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, based upon what I saw, what I read, because I do remember when it happened, and I remember feeling like I didn't think that what she did warranted prison sentence. I really didn't. I think they came after her for two notable reasons. Number one, because she was a woman. And number two, because she had the nerve to be a billionaires who, made that money on her own, created that empire on her own, like had so much power and influence, without a man. Let's just be clear, right? And I think that they felt it was their duty to bring her down a notch, because clearly the fact that she wasn't convicted of insider trading, right? She wasn't convicted of insider trading. Hi, Lydia. How are you, AP? What's up, girl? She wasn't convicted of insider trading, which that was a felony. They're saying she was convicted of lying to the FBI. Okay, but who says she was lying? So you had her word against the word of, some other people. An assistant for her stockbroker, I think it was, who said that she was mean to him and blah, blah, blah. And I think what really did not help her was like her best friend basically threw her up under the bus. But I still say that's hearsay. You know what I mean? So they went after her for a witch hunt, and I can't think of any other reason than, any other reasons other than what I said. Billionaire woman. So my question to you is it wrong? Why is it that a woman who is harsh, demanding, expects perfection, speaks her mind, doesn't have a problem, telling people, hey, this is how I want things to be. She's going to tell you what she wants, how she wants it. She's not going to deliver it in a soft, ladylike tone. Why are those women perceived as bitches? Why are they looked upon as if they're unreasonable? But those same attributes in a man are seen as, commendable, and he's a boss, and he doesn't take any stuff, because a lot of people who support people like a Donald Trump or whatever, that's one of the things they say, like, oh yeah, he's harsh, he's hardcore. Like, people really think about it. You remember that show he had, The Apprentice? People really were like applauding when he would talk harsh, fire people, like no feeling involved. Okay, Lydia says it's intimidating to those who don't understand. Exactly. And I was like, I personally don't think that there's anything ever wrong with a woman who doesn't have a problem speaking her mind. Like, maybe that's because I grew up in a family of women who spoke their mind, but seriously, like, what in the world? Why? And even this day and age, 2024, about to be 2025, it is an issue for women to be harsh, be demanding, those who are very blunt, those who are very direct. They're looked upon as, that's being a bitch. That's being a bitch. But it's okay for a man to be like that. And and that's really, that's really sad. That's really sad in this day and age. So yeah. Right, Lydia? So, just watching that, I was like, I've always liked Martha Stewart, okay? I've always liked Martha Stewart, and quite honestly, when she went to trial, I felt like it was a witch hunt then, and once she was convicted, I knew it was a witch hunt, because I was like, they don't have any proof of her, doing insider trading. And here's the part that really got me. The friend of hers who, it was his company, the one who they accused her of getting the tip from him or whatever, like, he came out and said, because they were pushing for him to turn her in, like offering him a deal if he would say, you know what I mean? Because they're saying that he found out that the FDA was not going to approve of this particular drug that he had come up with, right? So the FBI, yes, Lydia, if you haven't watched that documentary on Netflix, you got to watch it. It's actually really great. He would not come out, and they were like, oh, we need you to admit, or we need you to tell us that you gave Martha Stewart the tip to drop her stock, to sell her stock, before the stocks plummeted or whatever. And he wouldn't do it. Okay. He wouldn't do it because he said, that's not true. He said that his own mother told him, hey, if they're going to give you a better deal, yeah, tell them that you told Martha to do it. And he said, no, I can't do that because that's not true. I didn't tell her. So for himself to say that, and they still came after her, let me know that it was a witch hunt. But here's the thing, like, when you get to that, and if you watch this documentary, I'm telling you, like, she had people in her life close to her, who absolutely turned on her. You know what I mean? Like, you think when you reach pinnacles of success in life, you would like to think that there are people who are there beside you who truly want to see you succeed and are not envious of your success, or not envious of the favor that has been bestowed upon you, who want to see you, like, they're happy for you, they're cheering you on, and that's not always the case. And I feel like that was the case with her best friend at the because it's like, you were her best friend, but yet you were okay. And the best friend spoke in the documentary, right? And was like, oh, well, she shouldn't have told me this, and blah blah blah. And when I saw her, I just knew, when I saw her in court after I made my testimony, I just knew that our friendship was over. Well, yeah, because you came after her, you know what I mean? So sometimes your friends and some of your family members even are not truly happy about your success. Yeah, you would think, right? You would think, Lydia, like, hey, these people close to me, the people who, they saw me when I didn't have, or they know where I come from. They know my upbringing and how hard I worked to do this and this and that. You would think that those people would applaud you, and they don't always. Like, sometimes people are looking for a way to bring you down. So you have to be very careful about who you let in your circle. And sometimes we find out the hard way but you know, it's unfortunately it's a fact of life. And for her, this was, you know, people who came for her. And you know, as women, people feel like we are always supposed to be very emotional and show our, you know, show our emotions and be vulnerable. And you know, their idea of vulnerability is for us to be like meek and lowly. No, honey, vulnerability is not being meek and lowly. Okay, vulnerability is, you know, yeah, sometimes you can let your wall down, you know, share your truth. There's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't mean I have to be a sobbing mess. Okay, that doesn't mean I have to, you know, cry all over the place and, you know, say, oh, woe is me, and oh my goodness, won't somebody please help me and protect me, and, you know, blah blah. No, that's not what vulnerability is. Okay, vulnerability is being able to say, hey, I've got issues going on too. Hey, I didn't have it easy growing up. Here's my past. Let me show you about some of the things that I did, some of the mistakes that I made. Hey, sometimes I have a fucking bad day. You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, things just ain't right, and I feel down. Hey, my man cheated on me. Hey, this relationship failed. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable in telling your truth, but that doesn't mean you have to, you know, show this emotion like, oh my, I don't have to show you that I'm crying and I'm hurt. I can tell you, I can share with you what I went through, but I think it's also okay for women who, you know, are like, no, I don't have to share that with everyone. Like, there's a time and a place to show that vulnerability. Now, she did later on realize that, you know, hey, you do need help. And I think she mentioned in the documentary that those 5 months away, you know, she really, you know, it taught her a lot. And she realized that, hey, I can help people by being vulnerable in a way that doesn't make me look like, you know, some basket case or whatever. Me being vulnerable and sharing my truth and asking for help and realizing that, hey, sometimes you are going to need people to help you. That's okay to be vulnerable that way, because she really didn't like relying on anyone. And I understand her for that. I absolutely understand her for that. She liked a certain level of control, and she learned with this whole process that she had to give up some of that control with certain things. Like, you can't control every aspect of your life. You can't control other people. You know, you can't control everything that happens. You can control your emotions, yeah, absolutely, but you can't control the outcome of how everything is going to go. There are some things that you're going to have to let go and let God, right? But you know, that was her journey. And what I really loved was her reinvention. Oh my gosh, like, it goes to what I've heard, you know, some mentors in my life say. And I think about Lydia. I think about Coach Stormy all the time when she talks about you constantly have to reinvent yourself. And that is what this lady did, okay? I don't think there's anything wrong with reinventing yourself. Hell, reinvent yourself every 6 months if you want to. Reinvent yourself every year if you want to. That is absolutely necessary. Like, you don't have to stay the same person for you or anybody else. And I loved, let me tell you, what I enjoyed celebrating was the glow up, was the rebirth, the reinvention, how Martha came back swinging. Like, this woman said she lost over $1 billion as a result of the conviction and jail term. Like, her brand took a serious hit. Her stocks went all the way down. Her empire like took a hit. Okay, it took a serious hit. But when she came back and got on that upswing, baby, yeah. And that's what faith will do for you. That's what God will do for you, that no man can take away from you at all. And that's what I loved. So I got so much out of that documentary, and I definitely recommend you watching it. Hey, big sis, what's going on? How are you? I'm talking about the documentary on Netflix called Martha, about Martha Stewart. And I'm just sharing my thoughts as far as how she was, crucified in the media, how she was, hunted by ambitious attorney general who just wanted to put her in her place. Like, that's what really gets me, are men who feel like they have to put women in their place. Oh, you think you're this big thing because you've got this money and you've got this influence. Okay, well, now we're about to bring you back down to size. And that's what they call themselves doing. And what I really loved was how Martha Stewart did not allow them to win. You know what I mean? By being like, okay, well, now I'm just going to fall back into my little corner, but be in this little shell of a woman. And no, she came out swinging. Like, she realized, okay, I gotta take my time, and I gotta eat humble pie now that I'm back out here after my prison conviction, after my prison sentence. Yeah, she had to do some things that she maybe wouldn't have done, of course, before she had gone to prison. But when she got back into her bag, when she really was like, yo, I can totally become a whole new person without losing the core of who I am. Because if you watch the documentary, you'll understand, like, the core of who she was really a woman who had a huge heart for helping other people, for making things beautiful for people, for showing women, hey, you can have nice things and do nice things for your family and friends, and you don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be running in these great glamorous social circles doing it. Like, I think that kind of person is always going to be successful, because it's not always about them. Like, if it's always about you, how much money you can make, how much success you can have, you're not going to truly have success. You might have, some wins here or there. You might make some money. You might, have, celebrate and, have some good times. Yes, but you're not truly going to live the life that you are destined to live. You're not going to truly have the life that God intends for you if you make it always about you. Like, she went into this with a heart. Her business was started with a mission and a vision of helping other people. And I love that. And when I look at the truly, like, successful people in the world, when I look at somebody like a Coach Stormy Wellington, when I look at somebody like a Rihanna, okay, who built her brands, because she wanted to make lingerie affordable for women, who built this, who built her beauty line for women of color, because there's so much underrepresentation, okay, in the beauty industry for women of color. Like, when you have a heart to serve the less fortunate, or the ones, the underrepresented, when you have a heart to serve them, honey, like, all the favor that God has comes rushing at you. It comes for you. You don't even have to look for it. Just by serving other people, everything that you want will come towards you. So, those are my thoughts. I don't know if anyone else has had a chance to see it yet. If you haven't, go on Netflix, watch that documentary. I promise you, you will get so much out of it, and you'll learn a lot about Martha Stewart. There were, some things that I knew about her, but a lot of things I didn't know about her. I didn't know her background as far as how she grew up, and that sort of thing. But then just being able to hear her story and the things that she went through, it definitely, opened up a whole new perspective. And like I said, I've always liked Martha Stewart, and I tend to like women who are like go-getters and bosses and have their own brands and things like that. Like, I love smart women like that anyway. So I really liked her from the get-go. But I liked her even more when I heard her story and heard her truth. So those are my Sunday thoughts. Thanks for those of you who joined. If you're watching this on the replay, yes, AP, you've got to watch it. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, cousin. Hey. So for those of you who are watching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know what you think after you've seen the documentary. And yeah, come back. For those of you who are on here, come back and let me know what you thought and what you got from it. All right. So peace and blessings, everyone. Look, I'm keeping this hair dry with my hairbrella. I've got a couple of these. Do y'all like this? Look, this hairbrella is, this was created by a Black woman here in Atlanta, Tracy. I'm not sure of her last name, but anyway, she created this hairbrella, and you can get it in different colors. There's so many different colors. You go to hairbrella.com. So, all right. Thank you, AP. You have an amazing day as well. Cousin, love you. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.